Hello, I'm Vara,
And I think I'm Roxy.
and you're listening to What Might Be VCR.
Hello.
Hello, he said.
And this is the VCR show.
VCR. Hello, Roxy. How are you?
Obviously, in a very silly mood.
You are in a very silly mood. You're in a good mood. You've kind of had a good day. I too am in a good mood and a good day and being kind of silly willy with it. So it's just good moods all the way around, right? Did you enjoy the Thanksgiving? Were you all fat and happy?
I was not fat and happy, but I was pleasantly surprised. No, not pleasant. I was happy. I wasn't fat and happy. I was just happy. I had enough food. I didn't get overstuffed. I didn't eat too much. And I didn't drink too much, more importantly.
Yes, because someone can party and throw down. I'll tell you that
Yes,
much. Yep. But you did get some of your Cajun turkey, did you not?
Oh, I did. I got my fried turkey. I was so happy. It was delicious.
Awesome sauces.
Everything was so good.
Great, awesome. And not only was she happy about that, the next day, me and Roxy went out and we did our own version of celebrating, which was sad drum roll, because we don't have, big budget to get a real one. But we went to go celebrate by watching the movie Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
the horror movie called Thanksgiving, which was actually pretty damn good. I will say that.
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
pretty good. Like, it was way better than I expected.
Yes, and even though we may have lost the first 10 minutes of it, I'm not going to say why we lost.
It wasn't that hard to figure out.
No, it really wasn't. But I'm sure our audience might be like, how did you review it and lose 10 minutes? Roxy.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So someone ran a little late, and then we had to
usual.
eat, and we ate. We had like ramen and sushi before we went to the movie, and actually that was pretty damn good too.
Yeah, I love that restaurant.
We had a delightful little dinner before that. Then we jumped into watching the movie, and the movie was actually, like I said, surprisingly good. But I think part of that is because we went in there with such low expectations,
very low expectations
of the movie, that it succeeded.
Yeah,
what we
I had very low expectations of this movie, so I was like,
wow, that's actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Totally threw us for a loop because, like I said, we set the bar really low on this because this is going to be a cheesy, campy killer movie. And don't get me wrong,
it is very much.
It is cheesy and campy killer
much.
movie, but surprisingly a good cheesy campy killer movie.
So a friend of mine that I was talking to about it, he was like, "So is it like B-roll?" And I was like, "Yeah, very B-roll." I was like, "But B plus." It was B plus.
I couldn't even call it that. I couldn't even. So, well, you know what? It's hard for me to categorize it because it's like, I don't know if I can call it really a B movie, because it was kind of like, it was good. It wasn't
good. And it did have some bigger name actors in it.
Yes.
And I was surprised by.
Like Patrick Dempsey is in it. And then
McDreamies.
Yeah, McDreamy is in it. And then also from the movie, well, not the movie, the TV show Suits, which is on Netflix. And not that I'm promoting Netflix, because they definitely are not promoting us. Rick Hoffman.
But they can.
They can, if Netflix wants to. Definitely reach out. Rick Hoffman is in it, and he plays, well, he always plays a really good asshole, just a really, really good asshole, and he was playing that in this one too. But he was just really good, and Patrick Dempsey was great as well. One thing for sure is, like, me and Roxy were definitely there guessing, like, he did it.
It was him.
It was him. It's this guy. And we both
really bad about doing that at movies.
we were
I'm always like trying to figure out who it. I'm like, it's him.
it's
He's in
him,
on
it's
it.
this guy.
Like
It's this guy.
always.
And me and Roxy were there and we're like, it's this guy. And we both converged on the same guy too. We were both like, it's this guy. It has to be
Right.
this guy. We were both wrong.
We were both wrong.
I was like,
Very wrong.
oh damn it. I didn't
Son of a
figure it
bitch.
out. Yeah, like I didn't figure it out until like the main character figures it out. I was
Yeah, like
like,
we figured it out with her.
oh damn. I was
Yeah.
wrong.
Damn it.
I was like,
My detective skills suck.
exactly, but very good twist to it.
Very.
It was a very good twist to it. Very much enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to say it is definitely a go take a watch. It's comical too in the sense of like
There was a lot of giggling coming out of me.
there was we were both just sitting there enjoying the hell out this movie. I will say this, like, so it does not lack for gore. It is a good gore
No,
film. You
it
know,
is
like
very gory.
if you want to see heads flying and weird, bizarre ways to kill people and weird, bizarre, just stupidly like unimaginable ways,
Stupidly.
you know, like it's so
I was
cheesy.
like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Roxy was very much like, oh my God. The laughing at the same time while it's
Yeah,
happening. And
yeah, definitely.
it's just so good. It is very gory. But I will say this, it is funny gory. It is like
It's funny, gory. The kills are imaginative. I mean, chef's kiss. I don't think there was a kill on there that I didn't like.
yes, oh my God. I could tell you which one freaked her out the most. I will get to
Oh,
that.
it
But
still
I'll
freaks
tell
me
you which
out.
one freaked her out the most.
But what is it? Not trigger warning, not trigger warning. What's the one? Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alerts.
If
Yep.
you're gonna watch this movie.
Definitely. I have to say this now. So when dealing with some of the gore, like when like the intestines come out and go flying, I was making jokes because some of it is so dead obvious. Like it's like, so when I think they did this one where someone's stomach is open and all this, and the intestines are coming out, but it is clearly dead obvious they're using sausage, like
It's sausage.
actual, like the sausage you would buy at the supermarket for the intestines. So I lean over to Rox and go, I wonder if that's kielbasa or Polish sausage. And she was like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "But it's dead obvious. They're using like
It was
store-bought
very
sausage.
obvious.
Like they weren't trying to hide it. That was clearly like they were using Polish sausage or kielbasa sausage, or they were using like deer sausage, but it was
Something.
sausage. You know,
Maybe
I was
even
like,
Italian sausage. Who knows? Like the links, you know?
it could have been some beer brats for all I know, because it was
Ooh, you're
clearly
right.
like, and they do have it linked, like the string links, like
Yeah.
where you tie them off in the middle,
Uh-huh.
and they're pulling them out like that. I was like, oh my God, this is clearly just you
It
went
was
to a
so
butcher.
obvious.
Yes, and it's just nothing but
But
sausage.
that's kind of little things like that are what had me laughing with these kills.
Yes,
Like I
it
was just like, oh, this is ridiculous.
it really is. It was great. It was wonderful. It was imaginative. I have to admit, like some of the kills in there were so creative. I was like, bravo, you just really took that to a kind of a new level for me.
I
It was
already
just
had an
great.
issue eating like chicken off the bone. I don't think I'm ever going to be eating that again.
Roxy
Ever.
Roxy has
Ever.
given up on turkey, and I can tell you
Yeah.
why. So
I when I was telling you, like
mhm.
I was eating some leftover turkey and a vision of that scene popped in my head, and as I was chewing, and I was like, no, I gotta spit this out. Like I couldn't even finish it. I had to spit it out and just eat the vegetables and sides because I was so grossed out.
It was hysterical. So let me go ahead
It
and
was, but it really messed me up. It really messed me up.
so let's go ahead and do this for our audience, our loving audience. Roxy, I'm gonna do what I do and share screen with you. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give you a trailer of the wonderful wonderful Thanksgiving trailer. And the thing with the Thanksgiving trailer, now, if you've seen it before, because we showed it on our last show, uh, so you're going to see kind of like either probably a different one. But here we go. Ready? Ready, Roxy?
Ready, ready,
Clicky,
ready.
clicky. You've got this.
Commercial.
We're not promoting other people here. Just play the trailer, please.
Please.
Thanksgiving is a time for appreciation. It's a time to remember our many blessings, to celebrate with the ones that we love the most, and it's time for all families to be together.
That one. Cute.
Let's see.
So that was the delightful trailer for Thanksgiving. Yeah, that was really great. Well, I mean, the trailer wasn't that great, but you know, it was really great. Again, this is just kind of a little bit of the cast who's in it. Of course, you have Patrick Dempsey, you have, you know, some really Rick Hoffman. And this guy, there was one guy in there who he's Tim Dillon. I've seen some of his comedic work. He's an okay comedian, but he's an up and coming guy, and he was in there. And then you have this whole other cast of absolutely no names. But
So rude.
I mean, what do you want me to say? Like, have you ever heard of any of these people?
Upcoming actresses and actors.
Aspiring actresses
Aspiring,
and actors.
there you go.
You know, whatevs. But anyway, they were part of it too. They were there. They were there. I know. I'm gonna get an angry fucking email.
You will, and I'm gonna laugh.
Dick.
You are a dick.
But anywho, so it was really interesting. So this is how it kind of starts. We'll give you some basic little plots. Don't know what happened the first 10 minutes. Again, Roxy.
So from what I gathered, there was a Black Friday sale. And it went awry. There was fighting, there was like a mob thingy, and people got trampled and killed.
Yes.
And that's basically what happened.
Yeah, so it's this guy who owns a store in this town called Plymouth is basically the name of the town, and they had a Black Friday sale. Like Roxy said, someone died, right? A few people died, but apparently the Thanksgiving murderer who's out there murdering people is seeking vengeance for the death of a very particular person who was killed at that Black Friday sale. Although you don't know that in the beginning. And then it goes on, and then he's doing very clever things to let them know that, hey, you're going to be one of my victims.
Right.
He sends them a picture of this beautiful Thanksgiving table, beautifully decorated, and with little name cards at all the plates, and it has the names of all the people he's about to come after and slaughter. And it's just so much fun ensues after that because he starts doing it. He's just very, very clever. Now he's wearing a particular mask, and correct me if I'm wrong. So I think he's wearing the mask of like the founder of that town or something like that. So. I can't remember, but you know, they throw in a few red herrings like, oh my God, it's this guy. This guy did it. And then you're like, no, it's clearly not that guy. The one guy who they're kind of leaning on, I was like, oh my God, it clearly can't be this guy because this guy's like the shortest guy in the whole cast, and
Yeah.
the killer's like he's like 6 something, and this guy that they're trying to pin it on, like he's like the sub love interest of the main heroine, and the thing is he's like shorter than her. Like there are some scenes where like he's clearly
Yeah.
shorter than her, and then they like pick that up and like they try to even them out, but but it was just one of those situations like it's not this guy. Stop, you shouldn't even be trying to point the finger in that direction with the inconsistent height. And you think the dad, who is played by Hoffman, he's the store owner and he's pushing for this Black Friday sale, and like no one's going to make us shut down type of thing. And him and his daughter have an estranged relationship because he was previously married and then married some gold digger type of situation. And it just, they're just red herrings to kind of throw. You think that there's something significant happening there,
But it's
and
not.
there really isn't. I was like, okay. But it's a good job because it kept me and Roxy from figuring out who the real killer was. And they did a good job of that. They really did. Because like the information they're feeding you is just like crap, 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 murder,
I like
murder,
that
murder.
it kind of kept you on your toes. Like you were just like, okay, what's going on?
Absolutely.
Who is it?
It was well acted. Now, the one thing I will say about this, I don't know if this was just like a director's choice to do it or what happened, but they're trying to do like this kind of New England, Connecticut accent type of thing. And it's like they do some of it and then they forget that they're doing it. So there are certain scenes where they don't have the accent and then they do have the accent. I was like, is that just like deliberate? Are you really shooting for something like that? So, but it's funny because one minute you hear it and then the next minute you don't, and then it's like it's just bizarre and really, really good. I'm still curious if they ever find the girl in the refrigerator. They never clarify
I know
that.
whatever happened to her.
I
Like
was
they
like,
never like said if she got out, or I'm assuming that she
I
died
don't.
in there.
I'm assuming she's dead in there too because she was alive.
She
And then
was.
the mom found her, is like, shh, 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 I'm coming back for you. I'm coming back. And then closed the door. But the mom's the only one who knows that she was in there. So it's like, okay. So what happens here?
Right. Did she make it?
I'm assuming she's going to be dead because she was also covered in plastic. So yeah. And in a refrigerator. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming this
I'm
is
gonna assume it
going
wasn't
well.
too long after that.
Yeah. I will assume that it ended well. For some reason, the girl's Russian, but not Russian. You're clearly Russian dad with a very heavy Russian accent, and you have absolutely no accent whatsoever.
None.
Like you're not even trying to speak the Russian. But yet you understand the Russian. Like no. So it was very, very interesting. It was a good movie. It was a fun movie to watch.
It really was.
Is it like in the pantheon of greatest horror slasher movies ever made? No.
No.
But it is a funsy one. I will say I will not
Very.
bash it. It is a good one. I think it would be a fun one to watch every once in a while, maybe even for Thanksgiving, because it is called Thanksgiving. So I would probably even drop that in my, watch here and there. But is it the greatest horror movie ever made? No. It is funny. It is creative. Let's drop into some of that creativity. Roxy, talk about what was your favorite murder scene, Roxy?
Oh man. The one that grossed me out the most.
So there's this scene that we're going to ruin a few things for you. So there's a scene in there where he has taken the wife and he's going to cook her. Like she's literally spread out on this board and he's fixing her up with all the veggies, and then
she's surrounded like by potatoes and carrots.
Yes.
And
then he's basting
buttering her up.
Yeah,
like,
he's literally basting
and putting
her.
like herbs on her.
And then she escapes, and then he there's this whole long off like running scene and all this other stuff in between, and then he spears her in the back, gets her, and then puts her back, and he puts her in the oven, and she's still alive at this point. And then
Yeah.
he turns it on the high heat, and what was even funny is he sticks the turkey thermometer in her
Man,
chest.
that part cracked me up.
I was like,
He
oh
like
my God.
opens the thing and stabs her with the thermometer and then just closes it back. Like,
And
yeah,
at first I thought it was like he gave her an injection of some sort, but it's literally the turkey thermometer thing that pops up when the turkey's done. And I was just like dying because it actually pops up because she's done.
it
And I was like, oh my God. And
that poor lady. I was like, oh.
oh God. And then so here this is the best part of it. He actually positions her like as a turkey with the legs up
Like,
and everything, and her
yeah.
hands as the wings in like this. And he rips off the presentation blanket, and it's her cooked, like, you know.
Oh no, he cut her head off.
Oh
Remember, her
yeah,
head was on a different plate.
yes, that's right. Her head was on a different plate. He cut the head off, and then he's talking to the guy, the dad, and he's like, "Oh, it's your delicious wife." Is like, and he's
She's
gonna
ready for
make
you to
him.
eat her.
Yeah, he's going to make him eat her. And then he takes a knife and he's actually slicing off the thigh like it actually is like part of a turkey. And he's going to feed it to the dad. And then
Gross.
he starts like
Oh,
he starts upchucking in his own gag because he has them all tied up and gagged around the table. And like
it's gross.
it was like, oh God,
When
well
he
done.
started
But it
cutting
was
that piece of
gross.
meat,
Yes.
when he started cutting that piece of meat off her thigh, I was like, oh, I was like, see, this is why I can't eat like chicken off the bone. I envision this, and now I'm actually watching it. Like, this ruined chicken for me. I'm never gonna be able to eat chicken off
She's
the
never
bone
going to be
ever
able to eat
again.
turkey ever again, or
Yeah, I
chicken, or
probably won't be eating
anything.
turkey anymore.
But the way he did it so well, and it was
Oh, it
staged
was
so well,
so gross.
and it looked really gross because it's like he's cutting literally this chunk of meat off of him, and then he's presenting it like, like Happy Thanksgiving, and the guys is like, getting
Yeah.
all sick
Oh
over it.
yeah, I'm right there with the guy.
Yeah, I was like, this is utterly fascinating.
It's
Uh,
so gross.
there was one of the best little more clever type of murder
Mhm.
ones that I've seen. And then, of course, there's the cheesy, campy one where there's a cheerleader bouncing on a
I
trampoline,
was just gonna
right?
say that
And then
one.
she falls down and hits the trampoline flat, and then he stabs her through it, and then she jumps back up because the trampoline's pushing her up, and then she comes back down and he stabs her again. So he's just stabbing her every time she falls, basically,
Yeah.
as she just dies that way. Now, I'm sure that one's been done. That was kind of cliche, but it was fun watching it. Some of the
But the
other stuff.
boyfriend, the way he
Oh yeah, he just
snapped that,
snapped his neck. Like,
oh my
God.
God.
I was like,
Jeez.
wow.
Yeah,
Uh,
that one had me. I was just like, oh, okay.
Homeboy's not playing, is he? Like, yeah. And then, like, when going back to the Thanksgiving dinner, that was something else too, because it was so stupid, but it was funny. Uh, I think it's the cheerleader, right? So he's there and he takes the wine cork and he drills into her neck,
Oh
and then the blood
yeah.
starts coming out and he serves it in a wine glass, and I was like, oh
He's like,
my God. Mm.
what did he say? It needs to aerate
It
or
needs to
something.
aerate. It needs to air. It needs to breathe, is what he
That's
said.
what it was.
And then he puts it
I
on
was
the
like, oh my
table. I
God.
was like, oh.
That one made me laugh. That one really made me laugh.
So it was just things like that. It was so well done.
It
Um,
really was
it
very.
it really would. Now, here's the big question: do we ruin it and talk about who the murderer is?
No. We already spoiled enough.
We spoiled enough?
We
No,
spoiled enough.
no murder spoilies.
No giving away who it is.
No, okay. I guess we won't give away who it is, but it is definitely worth the watch. It's worth it because it's funny. It's clever. It's kind of cliche in some way. To me,
Yeah.
it was kind of a nice throwback to some of the 80s horror movies, or slasher movies. It was just that kind of cheesy cliche type of thing going on, and then like it's just so cheesy. You could call it Velveeta type of thing. Velveeta
I
sponsor
love
us.
Velveeta.
So it was just one of those things where you just couldn't help but enjoy it. And me and Roxy were just like, we were there and we were just like
I was
killing
eating
that
it up. I loved it.
popcorn and just loving how cheesy this was.
It
It
was.
was just so good.
And I really feel like they left it open for a part two.
Yes, they do. They do leave it open for a part two because the way now I will ruin this. So I'm going to ruin this. The
Don't do
way
it.
I have to. I have to. That way they understand why it's left open for a part two. I'm not going to say who. So the murderers revealed. They have this big like chase scene happening in this warehouse where they have this massively inflated turkey balloon, right? And long story short, our heroine shoots the balloon. It explodes because it's filled with some type of, helium or hydrogen, but it explodes and it supposedly kills our murderer. But then they cannot find the body of the
Dun,
murderer.
dun, dun.
I know exactly. What they leave you with is like, nothing could survive that. Everything in there is just burnt to ash. So that's kind of the thing there. And you see a fireman walking out of it wearing a gas mask and all this other stuff. And
Yeah, they don't show like he never lifts it or anything, but
you
know.
get the idea. Maybe he
know.
walked out of this type of situation.
Mhm.
And so there may be a Thanksgiving 2 coming to a
Right.
theater near you. And and so that's what happened there. So they never claim the murderer's body like any good horror movie would do or any good slasher movie. It's open-ended. Could they do a part 2? Absolutely. Roxy is right. It totally leaves it open to a part 2. Is there going to be a part 2? I don't know. I think it's campy enough to where you can leave it right there. It was good and campy, and you can leave it right there. You have an amazing movie. Do you ruin it with a part 2? Roxy?
I feel like if they did a part 2, it would be ruined.
I think so too.
Although Terrifier part 2 was great. So
but Terrifier part 2 opens itself up to a trilogy of things, and it's meant to be that way. So it works, and it just got better and better, unlike others where it's like part 2 is normally horrible. Terrifier 2 was great, and I'm dying to see 3 because I want to know how they sum it up. And I want to be floored again by this woman who I thought was, oh my God, how old are you? And you're 40 something. You look like you are 16.
Yeah, I really thought she was like 20 at best.
I want your beauty regimen. Exactly.
God dang.
I gotta say, I'm not comparing here. Patrick Dempsey looks pretty damn good for his age. Mr. McDreamy. I mean, that hair was flawless.
It was flawless.
Throughout that entire movie, I was like, wow, there's just not one hair out of place. Patrick,
right? It was amazing.
That's where the budget went, was to keep Patrick Dempsey's hair like just immaculate, like just not even a stray hair. It was perfect all the time. I was like, what the hell, Patrick Dempsey? But he looked great. For his age, he looked really great in the movie, too. And I was like, bravo. Actually looked like he lost weight, to be honest. He looked a little bit thinner than normal.
I don't know. But
really?
Maybe.
Huh. Because as McDreamy, I thought he was a little bit bigger.
I don't think so.
Was I wrong? No, maybe he looks the same?
Yeah, I think he looks the same.
Well, anyway. So maybe he looks the same. I think he looks a little thinner, but that's just me. But nonetheless, did a great job. Patrick Dempsey was hysterical because he was also the guy who was doing the accent, like it's this New England accent, and then all of a sudden it's like, where the hell's the accent, But he was funny. I really enjoyed him in this movie, and I hope he does other fun movies like this because I would really love to go see more of him in these kind of cheesy, campy murder movies. Roxy, your thoughts on it?
On Patrick Dempsey?
Aaron Patrick, hey, roll with it. Patrick
I
Dempsey.
mean, I loved the movie,
Mhm.
obviously. I thought it was great. I
Mhm.
would actually watch it again, maybe on streaming. But yeah, I liked it a lot. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about a part two. Like, I just don't want them to mess it up.
I think a part two would ruin it. I just can't. I mean, unless you're pulling out a really great
I mean,
script.
they'd have to have some more like super creative kills.
Yeah, I mean, you and then really, well, I guess in a way, the murderer's revenge was not fulfilled
Right.
because he
That's a,
didn't get the revenge that he wanted.
right.
So I don't know. But the director could pull it off. It is Eli Roth, um, who has done some other really, really great movies such as Cabin Fever, Insidious Bastards, Grindhouse, Hostel. He was the producer on Hostel. He was the producer on Grindhouse. He was in the movie Insidious Bastards. He was the producer for Cabin Fever. So he knows what he's doing. Technically, he also the producer and director for Thanksgiving, but I'm just saying he might be able to do something with this because he's actually a pretty damn good at this, so you can't really
Yeah.
complain about it. So we'll see, but I can't imagine a part two on this. That I think that would just ruin the whole thing. So I would
I
leave it
agree.
as it is and just roll with it. But it is definitely a thumbs up for me to go watch, and two
That's for
thumbs up
me.
from Roxy. I think one of the best things about it is like, after we left the theater, they were standing there immediately with surveys for us, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, how great. And I was like, did this movie succeed your expectations? Definitely, definitely
Yes,
did.
definitely did.
That's what
Definitely
happens when you
exceeded.
put that bar so low. It's like, wow.
Yeah. So go in with low expectations is what
Yes.
we're
And then it's
saying.
going to be even better
Then you can
once
be amazed like we were.
then you're going to be like, wow, this is really great.
Or you'd be like, wow, this really was crappy.
Yeah, you could be as a horror aficionado type of person, if you're one of those. Again, this is just campy. This is
Yeah.
campy Velveeta kind of, slasher stuff. So don't go in there thinking like it's the live all be all type of, horror
Right.
slasher movie. It isn't. I think it knows that when making it, but it's just I think a great touch of that cheesy, campy 80s-ish kind of
Mhm.
slasher movie without it being 80s. I loved it. I really did. I think I'll definitely go see it again.
Yeah, I
Definitely
would too.
worth it. We would definitely both go see that. That was definitely worth it. Definitely.
Definitely for sure.
But let's say maybe you had an opposite opinion of the movie Thanksgiving, or you have the same opinion, you want to express it. You can do that by emailing us to the VCR show at thevcrshow at gmail.com, or hitting us up at Insta and Twitter at the VCR show. Or you can check out our very exciting YouTube channel, which is the VCR show, if you haven't guessed it, on YouTube. And then you can check out our very limited content on our website, which is thevcrshow.com. And one day I will break down and actually add content to that. It's only been about a year,
One
but it's
day.
coming. One day, it's definitely coming. But let's say you want to sneak off and take Roxy to a horror slasher movie and you want to buy her popcorn with jalapeno toppings, which she did not get this round. So
Nope,
she
I
was
got
very
M&Ms
disappointed.
this
Yep.
time.
She got M&Ms. Yeah, she really did because they wanted to charge us for the jalapeno. So I was like,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
I was like, no, I'll just eat my M&Ms.
We'll just do M&Ms. So, but maybe you want to do that. You can do that at her social medias, which will be
On Facebook at Roxy Perez Curvy Model, on Instagram at PopRocks428, and on TikTok at ThePoproxx. And Poprox is spelled Poproxx.
yes, ROXX. Check her out.
I cannot.
And as always, I'm Vara.
And I'm Roxy.
And you've been listening to VCR.
Bye.
Bye-bye. As Mara just snores.
I know, in the background, I'm just...
Little piggy. You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at The VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show song is Addict by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.